Today is July the 9th. Why does it seem that there are so few Christians? Let's find out together as we study the Gospels. So we're working our way through the different commands of Jesus, and we've identified the first major grouping of commands as the command for us to be saved. One of the ways that Jesus talks about that is when he says, enter the narrow gate. In Matthew chapter 7, beginning in verse 13, this is from the Sermon on the Mount, which includes several short snippets of teachings that Jesus gave. Matthew 7:13, you can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for the many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it. Jesus himself says, there will be few. Now in Matthew, one of the reasons there's few is because the road is hard. The easy road, the road that most people opt for, leads to destruction. In the book of Luke, he says something very similar. In Luke chapter 13, Jesus, again, as he is teaching, in verse 23 of chapter 13, someone asked him, Lord, will only a few be saved? Listen to his answer. He replied, work hard to enter the narrow door to God's kingdom. For many will try to enter, but will fail. When the master of the house has locked the door, it'll be too late. You'll stand outside knocking and pleading, Lord, open the door for us. But he'll reply, I don't know you or where you came from. Later on in that passage, verse 30, he says, note this, some who seem least important now will be the greatest then. Some who are the greatest now will be the least important then. Now, in both of these passages, obviously related, Jesus says there is a great divide. There's a crossroads, and everybody reaches the point of making that decision. Do I take this path or that path? In Matthew, he says it's a narrow gate. In Luke, he says it's a narrow door. But in both, he says that door is harder. It's not the easy path. All of us are faced with the choice between two roads. You know, in 1915, Robert Frost published a poem in the Atlantic Monthly. He called that poem The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. And then the other, just as fair and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. Now, I don't think Frost was writing about this passage, but what beauty. I took the road less traveled, and that's made all the difference. That is what Jesus is saying. Take the road less traveled. Take the narrow gate. Go through the narrow door. Don't look for the easy path. Be willing to face the difficult path that leads to salvation. So my question for you today, are you traveling the road less traveled? Like, follow, and subscribe to this devotional on whatever platform you use to listen to it. Email your comments and questions to us at questions@becomehope.com. We'll see you on Sunday.